interviewee we picked is another picture of flamboyance from a different city, Dr. Ashesh Bhumkar. The same objectives hold good. Now this man is the Pablo Picasso of photology. And then we ask him, please send your CV slide in the faculty group, and he uploads this. He uploads, still in pursuit, naam to suna hoga. Is that humility or hubris?
It's humor.
It's humor. Not the other two.
Hello. Yeah. No, it's just...
What's your definition of humility? What's your definition of hubris?
Definition of humility, I don't know. I think it's to remain grounded, not think too much of oneself. I think there is, my core in life is my understanding about interdependence. This business about no matter what you do, without some dependence on someone or something or the other, you are a nobody. This is the core, I think, life in general. It's not about me, my career, my family.
Correct.
So I think that understanding, automatically the other side of the coin is humility as it is defined.
Absolutely. And we know this. He has a crazy sense of humor.
Yeah.
He's always ready with his witticism and wisecracks, spontaneous rejoinders to whatever we say. So is this a congenital disease or an acquired?
It is. I actually have been introspecting and think it's a congenital anomaly. For no. That's probably one of the reasons why I moved to Microtia. But there were phases when I became very silent, sometime in school, 7th through 10th, and then again, rediscovered this part of me to be myself. Yeah.
How are you evolving it? How are you honing that skill?
It's very organic. It is nothing that I do or don't do. Just very unapologetic about the way I am and the way I live my life.
But when you attack people, you don't mince your words.
Honestly, I don't think I attack. Maybe I have a perception problem. So I believe I speak the truth. And I was much younger, and I thought that my truth is the truth. As I grow older, I realize truth is but a perspective. So I don't do that anymore. But then I was young, and I believe it's conviction which has always driven me. I have had a tiff with Hugo Fish, and then we made up. I mean, it's not somebody of that level, because he unilaterally cancelled a workshop that me and Ashim were to hold. And I said, you cannot do this. This is not about you being big, or we were doing it together. We were a part of a team. So it's that I was very convinced that was a wrong thing to do, and I spoke against the wrong. So I don't think,
Yeah, you say it straight on their face. Don't have to speak behind them.
Yeah, no, behind, never, for sure, never. Yeah.
Now, there's a question I asked Janki also. What inspired you to focus in this area that you chose? There are different names there. Your talk this morning was absolutely fabulous, the keynote address.
Yeah,
Tell us what brought you to that area.
I think there is somewhere, not unique to myself, a sense of opportunity. I see opportunity in a very different way. Like, for example, if I was to transpolate it, there are 11 halls here, I will see which is the least attended hall, because that's where the crowd is not. And in my earlier days, I remember it was in Chennai that I went hall after hall, and many halls were over full. I said, I don't want to belong to the crowd. I have to do something that is very special. And by special, obviously the majority chooses the lowest hanging fruit. And the real sweetness is as you go up the tree. And I was willing to, climb the tree, take the risks, and, put whatever resources I have to do that. So I see opportunity in the management world. It's called the blue ocean strategy, where no man goes. Like, if I may be allowed, like, if it was up to me, I would go to the women's restroom, because that's where no man would.
That's his humor.
Metaphorically speaking, not literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So explore the unexplored, essentially. Something like what Janki did also with. anti-skull base. I saw this single surgeon performs all the following.
Yes.
This is on your Facebook
Yes.
page?
This is, in your growth, in your development, whether you like it or not, there will be a group, small or big, who you will perceive as competition. It's human nature to feel competition. And this is to say, because there's really nobody in the world who does all of this. So somewhere I had to put it on record. This was not about boasting, this is being factual.
Yeah.
Because they have teams everywhere where the plastic guy and the ENT will come.
Correct.
Since I have the privilege of being an otologist first, this is why I put this.
And it's definitely made a difference, hasn't it? Because you got referrals from all over the country and abroad.
Sure, yeah, of
Thanks
course.
to this.
Because what the plastics were missing on the hearing component, big time.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was chosen as the only ENT in the entire world to be the founder member of the world's top body of microtia atresia.
Oh, wow.
So they said the onus of bringing hearing into the specialty is on you. You decide how to take it.
Any mentors, teachers in this field specifically? Or you're a self-learned man?
Self-learned, I think all learning is self. There's very teacher. There's an art of, people say art of teaching, but there's a bigger art of learning. And what you pick up and not. Of course, you do choose somebody. I have always chosen the known best in the world. Like Janki said, Sethi became a family member, in fact, in my sinus surgery days. And here I went to France 22 times when that was my initial teacher. I visited her. I would go for a day or a day and a half and come back, watch 2 or 3 surgeries. That is my belief that once you are in practice, a staggered training program works best. You go and see 3 cases, come back, do 5, go back again. Because if you spend 6 months, the brain is a sponge, it can only absorb that much.
Correct.
So I like to do this. This was my secret of...
when was that? Early days?
This was 16 years. In my microtia days, that was 16, 17 years back.
Yeah. Now, there's this question that most juniors would ask coming out of PG. How to decide about government practice or private practice or medical college or corporate? How do you decide? You're in a single specialty hospital.
No, I think you have to follow your heart. Nothing against government or private. There is, you have to be honest to yourself. What is it that you love to do the most? If it's academics, if it's a large volume, there are 2 distinct things that happen in these 2 spaces. You get a large volume, you have the patient at your feet saying, please operate, the wait list is too long in the government practice. So you could do a lot of good work and your pursuit of excellence could be of a much higher and a quicker, the graph. Whereas in private practice, you'll do less number of cases, but you will earn more money and probably earn more social recognition. I think in government hospitals, typically it's within their group that they are known, but not so much within the society. That's my perception. So
that's a good tip. That's a very good tip. Now I saw this. What are your thoughts on a single specialty hospital vis-a-vis a multi-specialty hospital? Have you run into difficulties with like emergencies or cross referrals within Ashesh, Bhumkar, ENT hospital?
ENT, no, I think a hospital or your practice is an extension of your personality. It is a alive thing. It takes a shape and it actually remodels itself consciously or subconsciously. Like I almost don't get rhinoplasty cases. Now I did not say don't come. But what I do and what I do good or do well, the more of it comes. How it comes, I have no idea. But that's my observation and my firm belief that it is alive, my practice, and it speaks to the cosmos. Not landed. So mine is a daycare practice. I have a 5-bed hospital, very happy running it, very happy to shut it at night, go off and sleep.
So how do you handle the emergencies?
So no emergencies.
Cross connects?
I have no emergencies. I have 2 or 3 assistant doctors. If there is something really bad which I have not followed, like for example foreign body bronchus, I never did it. If that something like that comes, we just refer them to a colleague or to a center where it is.
And if you want somebody else's help, some other specialty, a neurologist, a neurosurgeon, how do you handle that?
So no, in my hospital I don't do this. Then I have to go to a corporate hospital. Yeah.
So are you linked to other corporates?
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is your daily routine? We asked Janki his. What is yours?
I'm a very big family and friends man at a personal level. So routine is same like him, 7:30 or so. I get up and my surgery starts at 10. But that morning tea with my mom, my wife and son is a very important ritual, and that can get on extending till whatever the mood is like.
Yeah.
And then I get out by 10 and I come back home by 10. And that's when we eat dinner, and again it's from 10 o'clock to usually 12:30 we'll chat as a family. My mom, she's 81 now, and my wife and son, so we all live together. And then after that, it's me and my wife who are chatting and whatever. So we sleep at around 1ish and get up by about 7.
Is it important to have a structure to the daily things, your daily routine, or your as it goes?
At a cerebral level, I think it is important, but in a practical level, I think I don't, follow that. I'm pretty spontaneous in these things, and that's one of the magical benefits of being in private practice. You are your own boss. If I decide today, no, tomorrow I'm going to start surgery at 11, I have the freedom to do that.
Correct.
I just have to let them know that I'm coming late.
Yeah.
So,
fabulous. Now, you're an artist. We've seen your masterpieces with your, auricular reconstructions. How do you, I think you alluded to this in the morning in your lecture, but just very briefly, how's your preoperative planning? We know this adage, proper preoperative planning prevents poor postoperative performance. Yeah. Tell us how
so I am an extremist. I don't know moderation, as you well probably know. Yes. And analyzed me. I'm either on this side or that side. I don't know the middle path. Yeah. That's just an anomaly or whatever you could call it.
Yeah.
So whatever thing I take up, I'm sort of obsessed with it. Obsessed with all humility. I don't want to be, the bird. I want to do it like the best that any other human being can do, or better. That's the only thing that drives me. It's not fame, money, nothing. But if it is some human being on the planet is doing something which I believe is good, I have to, in the shortest possible time, match that level and then try to go above it. This is at the level of excellence. This is not at level of any fame, social media, nothing. It's just a personal quest.
Correct. So are your consent and counseling sessions video tape?
No. I'm a very emotional. My connects are very emotional with my patient. I am in fact on record to say that we are in a hospital, not in a courtroom. And this I said 20 years back, and I still say that. I think we are blessed in India where the consent is concerned, because our religion teaches you fate. There is a lot of undercurrents of acceptance that comes. So if you are nice and sweet with the patient, if the patient realizes, 100% realizes that you have tried your very best for them, then all kinds of outcomes, including a death, will not evoke a anger reaction. And I think winning with sweetness, I think, is a much better strategy than through law or through legal routes. That's been the foundation of my practice.
Well said. Well said. Beautiful. Yeah, this was the question. How do you handle, I asked Deepak Haldipur this in the Karnataka AOI conference, how do you handle the quintessential brain chewer in the OPD? The one that
I have one very little trick, and as an ENT there's a big advantage. I say, please open your mouth and say, ah, and then I'll make that ah, so he's gone silent. That's one trick. You have to break their rhythm. When there is a momentum. The human mind works on a momentum, and if you can break that momentum without offending the opposite person, I think you have put a pressure release valve, and this becomes easy. Of course, there are times, and I can't forgive myself when I actually get angry, and this happens once in 2-3 years that I have lost the control, and but then I work on it a lot. I have my team, and we have a sort of a code language, because I also have a momentum. I can also be emotionally upheavaled in some way.
Correct.
So I just indicate to them and they'll take over, or they'll say, sir, there's another patient in the other room. You try to break that momentum and we are fine.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. How do you handle a surgical complication? I'm sure you've had
Yes,
your
sure.
share of that.
Yeah, again, it's with the sense of belonging. I'm not defensive, I'm not trying to justify. And like I said, you come down to things happen. I mean, I will say that I did exactly the same thing on 1,000 patients before you. They did not have any problem. Unfortunately, you had. I go to the analogy of saying we eat the same food, but we don't look the same. So what we do to the human body, and after that what it does to itself, is not within our controls. And I say, if you believe in God, that's where God comes in. If you believe in the force of life, that comes in. So science or medical science is not arithmetic. 1 + 1 is never ever 2. These are my very standard lines in such situations.
Beautiful. So, can I ask, what is your indemnity insurance? 10 crores?
Can I be very, very honest? I don't even know. I swear I don't know. No, it is there, but it's. I am far removed from. I have never carried a single rupee that I have earned in my pocket. It goes straight to the bank, but I don't know how much I earn. There are times when I don't even remember the name of the bank in which my hospital account is there. I have a very strong infrastructure support designed by my wife. She's brilliant, and she's a strong support, and she allows me the freedom to be indulgent in all the other aspects, because the home and practice and the whole core is taken care of by her.
Awesome. We asked you this, and I think you alluded to this. Any post-traumatic stress disorder kind of depression after a bad surgery or a failure? They say don't take success to your head, failure to your heart. Are you that kind of person?
Yeah. Failure, if it is my own creation, obviously I'm going to dissect myself and use it as a learning process so that the next person doesn't suffer at my hands. Success, like I said, it's still in pursuit. In no way I consider myself successful. So there's no question of it going into my head.
Head. What about failures?
So failures are, fortunately, I'm a very well-loved child by my mother. At 16, I fell in love when I was in 11th standard. So very well loved by my wife, who we still think we are having an affair and not technically married. That's one of the secrets of keeping that 13th January 1978 is when I first gave her that love letter in the back gully of the college.
Yeah.
And the affair still continues. We are just on paper married, so we don't feel internally married. So we're still best of the friends. Yeah. And sorry, what was the question? I forgot.
No, the question was about, good one, about failure. Any PTSD kind of situation you've ever been in?
No stress. I have no stress.
No such thing. Okay. Now you did this. I know this. You were the whistleblower for the black fungus, operation, and this is there on basically about the black marketing of I think remdesivir and amphotericin, right? Yeah. So tell us about that. How did you handle it? Why did you even have to blow the whistle?
No, this was very traumatic. I think 100x of COVID, what the patients were undergoing, the mucor patients, when we were seeing the first 50 or 100 patients, I think this was worse than death. I mean, if at all there has been a phase in my life where I couldn't look into the eyes of a patient, these were the mucor patients in COVID. I mean, they were just, walking dead people, even after the surgeries, after the bombardment. And when I started to know that at such a case, humanity can fall down to this level, that you will exploit somebody's misery of this kind, I had become very, very emotional. In fact, I cried on one of the national TVs, very spontaneously. I had the current chief minister come to us. He actually watched the mucor surgery. He was there for an hour and a half trying to understand and I had done a Zoom call for my city with him, and I told him this on his face, that people are using your name and extorting money. So please do something. I don't know what to do. You are the politician. You are supposed to do. And the doctors were aghast that somebody can, because he was already a minister by that time, not the chief minister. But again, I mean, I'm speaking the truth. So I said, how can you tell the minister that people are taking money in your name? But that's the truth. So how else do I tell him? And if he doesn't know, how does he correct it? So that was a very simple.
No, but what you did was really brave. You know, you could have been
Thank you.
attacked by the industry, but I think you should get.
I mean, I was
an
just being
applause
honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about this, the work-life balance, family time. What advice would you give to children? Your children are growing up. And what would you...
You know, growing up...
Should we become doctors? Would you ask them to become doctors? Mumbai is famous for second generation, third generation in the same specialty. I know of many. So you have a dear friend who's of the same.
Yes.
And he's done excellent. And it's not easy to step into the shoes of an
it's
illustrious
far more
father,
difficult than setting
illustrious
up your
mother.
own practice.
Exactly. So
It is far more difficult. People think they have it all on a platter. It's exactly. Those who don't understand human behavior think it like that.
Yeah.
But if you understand human behavior, you will realize that their challenges are far bigger than the first time beginners.
correct.
But no, in my family, I think it's first of all, I don't see my child as a child or in the sense of a projection of my ego. I and my wife, we truly see him as the product of nature, and we are caretakers for the physical and the emotional part of this human life.
Yeah.
And that is our level of connection with him. So automatically comes the freedom, and freedom is a freedom of choice. And he's a brilliant kid, academically very brilliant. He's done his chemical engineering from UC Berkeley, masters from Cambridge. And he's seen me, please don't, nobody misunderstand, but he believes that a doctor's challenges are very linear, and he would like to be exposed to a 360 degree. The maximum utilization of cerebral power, we become more and more skilled, more and more good at less and less.
Yes.
Whereas he's an entrepreneur in his head. He wants to, so that was a personality that he had. So it never really got discussed, do you want to be a doctor?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So family is above everything else for me. Is above the profession, above myself. That's how we are structured here.
Any retirement plans?
No retirement plans. There's an extension of this, and I talked to Ashim and I talked to so many other people. When does a surgeon, or when will I decide to stop doing surgery? That's a question that haunts me. When will my time be up?
Can I have
That
the
is
slide
what.
back? The slide.
No. When will my time be up? When do I decide? And I have seen many people, and that is a very, it's a vital lie that we all live in. When does one decide that now the best out of me is not coming? As an otologist, I have made a milestone for myself that when I start disrespecting or start boxing with the chorda tympani in my middle ear surgery, I should make an assessment that my fine micromotor skills are on a deterioration. So I want a tangible milestone for myself. Age, I don't know. The rest of the mentation, I don't know. But that's something which I have kept for myself.
Do you have a succession plan? Do you know who will take over your practice?
No.
Would you want one?
Sunil, when I was 30 or 32, I wrote my own obituary. And that, you had spoken about focus. I wrote my own obituary and said, dead and gone. There are no footprints. There is no legacy. It's all illusion. I said, tell me which doctor's name of the last 100 years do you remember?
Well said.
And you're not supposed to remember. It's a continuum.
Well said.
So we are incidental.
Well said. Have you written a will?
No, not written a will.
Is that important?
So that thought never occurs to me to write the will.
Okay.
You know what? My wife will take care of that.
Yeah, automatically it will go to her. Take home messages, Ashesh, before we part.
I mean, when Janki was, I think my only take home messages is please don't ever take home any messages. Create your own messages. You are you, and I am one of you. And honestly, I was going to do a little bit of drama, but with Janki, the whole thing was very serious. I was expecting a little. No, I mean serious from my standards. It was wonderful. So I was going to do 2-3 tricks. I had bought a chane ka pudi to share with you. I thought we were going to be sitting like this. And in there, there is a brown paper bag, and if you allow me, I'll bring it.
Please.
And
Please, please, please. Ladies and gentlemen, wasn't he brilliant? Give him a big round of applause, Ashesh Bhumkar.
this that I had got, and at some point, I was going to wear this. And if this is what you internally believe you are, everything else, all humility, all everything falls in place. I don't think you have to work at it. That was something which I had thought. And give me 2 more minutes. I had put on the group before they shut me out from the admin thing that I wanted to actually, first of all, thanks to him, a very, very humongous scientific program. And I don't have the bandwidth to even go through those 58 pages. I cannot imagine how you did this. And I wanted each one of all those 312 faculties to get at least 1 kg of mithai from their own town and send 300 kgs of mithai to his house for him to wonder how to tackle this. So from my side, I have brought that 1 kg, which I'll give it to you. And I also said about the perfume. At the airport, I got a brand. The brand is Burberry's, but the model of the perfume is Hero. And that's my dedication to you. Thank you. Thank you. Brilliant.